On this project, we're going to install a 3/8 inch partial overlay door face and drawer face. To accomplish this, we need to install the drawer using the same hardware and joinery method as we did before. The only difference is the drawer is set inside the cabinet 3/8 of an inch. So the sides of the drawers will be slightly shorter. Now onto the door. The door will partially overlay the front by 3/8 of an inch and inset 3/8 of an inch. Kind of. That's one of the tricks of this type of hinge. You really need to have this hinge at hand when you start making the door. The reason that is while we cut a 3/8 inch rabbet in the back edge of the door, once I mark where that rabbet, how much of it's actually going to overlay the perimeter of the opening, we find that it's 1/4 of an inch. So our door, instead of being 3/8 on each side, will only be a 1/4 inch overlay on both sides. You wouldn't want to cut your stiles too long and not account for that, because otherwise when your door closes, the rabbet won't clear and the door won't close. Also on this door, we're going to use a cope and stick stile and rail cutter. Here's an example. We'll use a cope cutter to cut the profile on the ends of the door rails, and we'll use the stick cutter to cut the profile on the top and the edge of the stiles and rails that go around the door. We're also going to use a raised panel bit and a solid wood door. We'll need to allow for expansion and contraction of that door panel as we go through the process. So let's lay out and determine exactly how long our parts are and how big our drawer face is. So we already know we're going to be a 1/4 of an inch overlay. So I'll set my ruler and start laying it out like I did before. For this project, I'm going to use solid wood for the drawer face. It'll just be one solid piece of wood. So with our 5-inch drawer opening and our 1/4 inch overlay, we're going to be 5.5 inches for the width of the drawer face. For the length, starting from our 10-inch mark again, I can see that we're going to be 11.5 inches for the length of our drawer face. For the height, we're going to need to be 14, and in this case, about 3/8 of an inch. That will be the length of our stile, but how do we figure out our rail? We need to know how wide our parts are going to be and how deep of a groove the cutter creates. So we're going to use, to be a little different again, we're going to make our door rails and stiles 2¼ inches wide. So I'll lay that out. And then we need to measure for our groove. In a combined, if you combine the two cutter depths, it ends up being 13/16 of an inch deep. Really what that means is that on each side of the cutter is going to cut a groove about a 32nd inch deeper than 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to set my mark at 3/8 plus a 32nd. 3/8 plus a 32nd. So for the door rail, top and bottom rail, in this example we're going to be 7 and 13/16. If I was going to make this with a 3/8 inch groove, it would have been 7 3/4. So 7 and 13/16 will be the length of our stile. Our panel will be 1/4 inch narrower than our stile is long. So we will measure, we've got our length of our stile, and when we rip our door panel, it will be 1/4 inch narrower. That leaves 1/8 inch on both sides for expansion and contraction. So let's go to the router table and go through the processes involved in setting up that cope and stick cutter and making this door. The first cut is the cope cut on the ends of the rails. The bit is set with the bearing flush to the fence faces. The rails are routed with the good face down on the table. This bit forms the tenons on the ends of the rails and the profile below that wraps around the mating profile on the stiles. After routing the rails, the stick bit is mounted and set so the upper cutter aligns with the tenon on the rail. And again, the fence is set flush with the bearing on the bit. All 4 door pieces are routed with the good face down. Next, the panel raising bit. Set the height so the top of the tenon lines up with the bottom of the upper cutter. Then, set the router table fence flush with the shaft of the bit. This is a big bit, so to decrease the bite, I attach an auxiliary face to the router table fence. Slow the router speed to its lowest setting and feed the panel slowly. After making one pass on each edge of the panel, remove the auxiliary fence and make the final passes. The completed panel fits snug in the groove. We have completed using our cope and our stick bit to cut our profiles on our stiles and rails. We've also used our raised panel bit to create the panel. Before I install this, I need to allow for the expansion and contraction of this solid wood panel. So I have applied a stain and the first coat of finish. The reason I put that stain and finish on is when I put the door together, as this panel expands and contracts during seasonal changes in humidity and temperature, I could end up with gaps where there was no stain on the panel as it moves, as the stile moves away from the center of the panel. Also, to keep the panel centered in the door, I'm going to use some rubber panel spacers. These go in the groove, in the stiles and rails, and they also keep the panel centered and also prevent it from rattling. So let's glue it up. Each door piece gets 2 space balls. Then I apply glue to just the tenons and insert the panel. The panel is solid wood and does not get glue so that it can expand and contract. Once all the pieces are in place, clamp across the rails. The space balls keep the rails from seating flush with the ends of the stiles, so use a clamp to pull them into position. Check the door for square and let the glue dry. With our door and drawer face complete, it's time to begin the installation. With any kind of hinge that has the barrel visible, I like to place the top of the barrel even with the bottom of the top rail and the top of the lower rail. So let's lay that out. For the knob for this door, instead of the 3-inch wire pull, we're going to use something a little different. With a knob, I like to center the knob along the bottom of the upper rail. To install this, really the best way is to lay the cabinet down flat. So we'll set the door in position. I'll align it with my marks at the top and bottom that I laid out before, and then I'll pull the door all the way over so the hinge touches, the inside of that rabbet touches. Now the hinges have a little bit of spring to them. As you can see, when I push on the door, that hinge will roll. That'll give me a little bit of a gap, and that's what I want, for that hinge to clear. So I'll hold the door tight and push down and drill 1 screw. To install the drawer face, I've applied some double face tape, and I've made a 1-inch spacer to provide a gap between the door and the drawer face. Add that. Set the drawer face in position. Check our alignment on the edge. Get that tape to work, and I can throw a clamp on it. So now I'll lay out for my knob. And drill the hole. This time I want to go through the drawer face, but not into the drawer. So I'm going to use a little tape as a flag. I want to drill about a 7/8 inch deep hole. That will go through the 3/4 inch drawer face and leave a little mark in the drawer front itself. Before we install the knob, I need to permanently attach the face. To do that, I'll use some 1-inch screws. The pilot hole for the screws will index where the drawer face is going to be attached to the drawer front. Before I can install the drawer face permanently, I have to account for the head of the screw. I can either countersink into the drawer face, but I just like to create a little pocket in the drawer box itself. So I just use a Forstner bit and create a little dimple. Now I can add the knob. And we're complete.